Hello, my dear student. Before I start the new lesson, I would like to thank all the students who care about the homework. I mean, Yad and Noor and Sarah. Okay, thank you. I wish all the students also care about the homework. Today we have new section, chapter 5, section chapter 5, section 2. In this section we will learn how you can transformation function left, right, up or down, reflect about x-axis, reflect about y-axis. This is the function of x plus number plus d plus c, any number. We have of x, we have number outside the bracket. Then this transformation is vertical translation, d units up, plus d we go up, minus d is vertical shift, d units down. If you have number inside the bracket, then the shifted is horizontal shift to the left. If you have plus, don't forget please, plus we go to left, minus we go to right. I will repeat. If you have of x, any function, plus any number, this number outside the bracket, then vertical shifted, d unit up. If you have minus, then vertical translation down, you go to down. I mean, if you have function, okay, plus any number d, that you have function, then we go to plus d, we go up. We shifted this graph up. If you have minus, this means down, we shifted down the function. We have of x plus c. This means we go to left. Plus we go to left. If you have parabola, then we go to left. It will be like this one. If you have minus, the number inside the bracket, not outside the bracket. If the number is inside the bracket, then we move to the right. This parabola, we go to right, we shift it to right. Okay? If you have minus before the bracket, before the function, minus outside the bracket, then this means reflection. Reflect about x-axis. reflect about x-axis is this one. It's x square. Reflect about x-axis. We reflect the graph about x-axis. As you know, this is x-axis and this is y-axis. F of x, and we have minus before. This one is reflect about x-axis. And if the minus inside the bracket, if the minus inside the bracket, then we reflect about y-axis. Y-axis. Example, if you have radical, this is square root x, was the graph of minus radical x is this one. Reflect about y-axis. This is chapter what we need in chapter 5 section 2. Only this one, please. Okay, let me start with some example. As you know, of x we have number inside the bracket, then we shift it of x c units left. Example. If you have of x square, we have plus, we have a plus 3 all square. Okay, graph. Sketch the graph of this function. X plus 3 all square. If you see square means we have parabola. This is x square. X square. But if we have x plus 3, what mean inside the bracket? Inside means shifted horizontal. Horizontal shifted. C units to the left. We go to left from this point. 1, 2, 3. Then a graph. This is the graph of x plus 3 all square. If you need another example, another parent function, we have f of x is equal to absolute x plus 1. As you know, the graph of absolute is like V shaped, this one. But we have plus 1, we go to left. If you have plus, we go to left. The 1 is inside the absolute. We go to left. 1 unit left. This one is a graph of absolute x, and this is the graph of absolute x plus 1. Now we have number inside the bracket. If you have number inside the bracket, then we move horizontal. How many units? C units. C can be any number. To the right. Example. X minus 2 all square. Graph this one, you say, we have square and it means parabola. And the graph of parabola is this. Parabola, x square. But we have minus 2. we move to the right. To the right. If minus, we go to right. How many units? 2 units to the right. 1, 2. This is the graph of x minus 2 all square. Another example, if you have absolute, now we did absolute, we take now radical. Radical x minus 2. We have radical. What's the graph of square root? The graph of square root is parent function. This is always this graph. This is the graph of radical x. But we have minus 2. We go to right because the number is inside the radical. We go to right, 1, 2 to the right, and escape the graph. This is the graph of radical x, and this is the graph of all radical x minus 2. Number 3, f of x plus c. What's the difference between this one and this one? C inside the bracket, C outside the bracket. If the number is outside the bracket, then we move up or down the graph. If the number outside the bracket. Example, if f of x is equal to x squared plus 2. Say, we have x squared. The graph of x squared is this one. Parabola. Always this graph of parabola, x squared. But we have plus 2. We move at this point 2 units up. 1, 2, then a graph. This graph is a graph of x squared plus 2. Same thing for radical. Sketch the graph of radical x plus 2. Or yes, because you have plus, we talk about plus now. What's the graph of radical? Along radical x, this is the graph of radical x. But we have plus 2, then 2 units up, 1, 2. Another example, graph absolute. Now we have x squared is parabola. Radical is one eyebrow. And absolute is this the graph of absolute. But we have plus 3 means we shifted the graph 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. This is a graph of x. Number 4. We have number outside the bracket at negative. Then we vertical shift it. C units down. If you have minus, we go to down. The graph will be down, shifted C units down. Example, you have f of x, absolute x and minus 1. We have x minus 1. The number is outside the absolute, not inside. If this number inside the absolute, we move left to right. But this is outside, then we move down. Minus down. Absolute graph of absolute, this one. Parent graph, guide function. And you have minus 1, we move the graph 1 unit down. This is the graph of f of x, absolute minus 1. Another example, graph radical square root. What is the graph of square root alone without this minus? Is this one, radical x. Minus 2. 2 units, we go down from this point. 1, 2. Then a graph. This is the graph of radical x minus 2. 2 units down. Now, we have reflect about x-axis. If you have minus outside the function, outside the bracket, then reflect the graph about x-axis. Example, if you have f of x is equal to x square, then the graph of x square is this one. Parabola, x square is parabola, always parabola. But we have minus, then reflect about x-axis. This one is the graph of minus x square, and this is the graph of x square. Same thing if you have absolute or radical. Now, what if the negative inside the bracket, then reflect about y-axis. Example, if you have f of x is equal to minus radical x. What's the graph of minus radical x? Radical x, this is radical x. But we have minus inside the bracket, يعني under root, then reflect about y-axis. This is y-axis and this is x-axis, the horizontal. About y-axis, if the negative inside, about y-axis. Okay. This is the graph of radical x, and this is the graph of minus radical x, and this is the graph of minus radical x. Okay, this section of chapter 5 section to what you need to study, please just this video, just this one, not more. Okay, thank you. That was for today. Okay. I wish you a nice day. Mr. Dlear, your math teacher.